This episode, a business card on my lawn. Well, I was walking the dog today, and I happened to find a business card from a competitor on my lawn. Well, I talked to Johnny about it, and John said, we need to have a candid discussion about business cards on our lawns. Welcome to the Handyman Pros radio show. Home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros. Thanks for listening to another edition of the Handyman Pros radio show, where our goal is to help save you time, money, and aggravation on your home maintenance and repair. This edition is entitled A Business Card on My Lawn. And to help me explain, I'm here with my ever-cheerful co-host and old buddy and lawn-chucking business card dude, maybe, Mr. Johnny. Johnny, what's happening?
Get off my lawn.
Mr. Johnny, Mr.
No, the old curmudgeon,
Johnny?
get off
That's
my
right.
lawn.
Get off my lawn, dang it. That's right. So what's been going on, Johnny? Anything exciting? We did a job together yesterday.
We did a job, and we're going to be talking about that probably in an upcoming show. We did a little bit of video on that, and I'll be editing that up and putting that out, but stacking a washer and dryer.
Yeah. Well, kind of recreating a laundry room.
Rearranging.
Rearranging. That's a better word for it. And coming up with some pretty creative ideas and what to do and so forth and so on. Kind of.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good day.
She was very, very excited about it, honestly, sort of.
Yeah. So,
I was
Larry, you found a business card on your lawn, and that spurred me to say, I get business cards on my lawn all the time.
I know. And before we dive into that, folks, we would like you to like and subscribe to both our podcasts and our YouTube channels. You can do that wherever you happen to be listening. We really appreciate it. Send us a review as well. With that, Johnny, we find these. I'm going to put them up. If you're watching the video, I picked up 3 of them. This person did a good job. We want to go over the pros and the cons to this particular method of marketing. And I think the first thing is, John, I'm going to let you run with it. What's your take on these kinds of marketing methods?
Well, I think we'd all agree, hey, kudos to, trying, no doubt,
Correct.
and putting that all together. But the first thing that comes to mind when that happens with me is that, they're on my lawn, they're on my driveway. People it's a drive-by marketing.
It's very much drive-by marketing. I know in my case, and I get them from all kinds of people, tree guys, this, that, the next thing. And my first response is, please don't litter on my lawn.
Exactly. That is true, because I'm picking up all kinds of stuff.
Yes. And in this case, I do have to say this person did a nice job. He's got a very nice business card. It's a good, we've talked about business cards in the past. He's got a great business card. It is a mini brochure. It tells all the things that he does and doesn't do. We're just talking strictly about distribution method. And he put this in a plastic bag with a little, almost a bead. But it's a specifically purchased thing. Looks very, very nice. Until in this particular one I'm holding, a car ran over it and crushed it. So now it looks not so good. One of the reasons to not do this. But he's probably got, he's got to have at least a quarter, maybe 50 cents into this piece, I would assume, because it's a nice business card, which I know how expensive business cards are, and they're not terribly expensive, but they are expensive. He's got a plastic bag, so he had to pay for a bag. I don't know, that's got to be a penny or a couple pennies at least. Plus he's got this bead in here, and I don't know what that costs, but it's got to be something. And more importantly, right, John, what else does he have? His time driving around.
And just chucking those things out the window. I get them with a rock in them.
With a rock in them, or a pebble.
And it's like,
you're kidding me, right?
First of all, when I see that, I immediately go, no.
Yeah, this is first perceptions. Now,
first take, yep.
John and I both live in, I don't know, we want to say, we're not getting persnickety on this, but kind of upscale neighborhoods, I mean, we don't live in, this is not, we live in nicer neighborhoods, right? So for me, when the first time I see it, I'm sort of like, no, I'm going to go with a referral or somebody else. Like, you don't even have a prayer with this particular marketing method to me. Now, that's a me thing, and I understand that. And maybe to some people it's a way, if you're new to a neighborhood or something, that's the way you come up with it. But to me, it's a negative. And please don't litter on my lawn. I'm going to say it again. Please don't litter on my lawn. And I get them taped to the mailbox and things too.
Dude,
right?
Let me tell you something. I try to keep my mailbox nice. For whatever reason, it's just, one of those things. And I repainted my mailbox, just the outside, because it's all bricked in.
Sure.
But I painted it, and the next thing I know, somebody's throwing up a piece of Scotch tape on that thing.
And it pulls the paint off.
And it's just, the sun hits it, and then it seals that melts that Scotch tape into the paint, and then you're doing it all over again. I'm like, I'll kill you.
Our point here, this is largely aimed at anybody doing, we're going to call it door-to-door marketing. This is actually in some ways, and I know we're only two guys and we're only speaking from our personal experiences, but this actually is negative marketing. And I know to me, it's negative marketing. It's not enhancing my ability to do business with you. And we're going to put forth, let's move into some things that are going to be better. And like I said, one thing I have to give this guy credit. His business card is nice. It's what we talk about. It's a mini brochure. It's got all his contact information on there. It's really nice. And it looks nice. It's well done. And I like the business card, but he's thrown it on my lawn and he's thrown them all over my neighborhood. Strangely, he only hit one side of the street. I find that to be very interesting too. If you're going to do them, do everywhere, at least do everywhere, but he hit one side of the street, whatever.
And so folks, if you're working in a neighborhood and think that this is a good way to do, go about marketing, there's a lot that can be going on here, but let's take that as a scenario. It's probably not the best thing if you have some extra time, right? Larry, what would you be doing instead of throwing those up?
Well, so so John and I want to just step back. John and I are old sales guys. We are old sales guys. We are like, Johnny, I know what I would do. If I really, really am, if I've got some extra time and I'm looking to generate some extra business, first thing I'm going to do is ask my customer in the neighborhood. I said, is there any of your neighbors that might need some help? That's my first place. And if they say, Sarah down the street, down, 4 doors down or whatever it is, was saying that she had a project going with this or whatever it is. And then my next question to the customer is, do you mind if I go down and knock on Sarah's door? And she might say yes, no, or she, and I always refer to she because usually we're usually dealing with women, but it could be the husband, doesn't matter, or whatever. And if they say yes, I'm going down the door and I'm going to go knock the door. I'm just going to knock on the door. And it's really simple. Hi, I'm Larry. I run a handyman service. I was down doing some work down at Jane's house. Jane said, you've got a potential project. I just wanted to drop a card off. Here it is. And
no harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul. You probably got somebody lined up. That's great. If you don't, give me a ring. We'll set it up.
The next thing is, if it's not you, do you know anybody?
And then it's right.
And then this is how you network through the neighborhood.
And you can walk right through the neighborhood and go, you know what? If you really want to do the best direct marketing, just knock the doors, have a very unassuming presentation and hand them a card and walk away. And you're going to, folks, as John and I know, we've done this I used to do this commercially all the time. I'd call on businesses, 10, 20, 40, 60 places in a day. And yes, there's always people that are going to say no. I got escorted off a property one time, literally by my collar, which was an interesting thing. But anyway, it's a sales story. But yes, you're going to have some people say no. But what else is going to happen, John? Because I know you've had this happen.
Well, then people will say,
hey, what do you do?
Sure. What do you do?
Hey,
I've been looking for somebody.
Yeah, I've been looking for somebody. And you're working for whom? Oh, right. Yeah, I know her or him, whatever.
I know in this day and age, too, if you're standing there at Jane's place and you say Sarah down the street, right, maybe they're good friends. And, hey, can you just send her a quick text and say I'm going to be down there? Just so they're not taken aback, by some guy walking up the driveway or some strange, in today's world, right?
Well, Johnny, that you need to put the makeup over that neck tattoo that you have.
Right.
The one from prison. That one.
Right.
You need to cover that one.
Right, the scorpion. So yeah, gotcha. So anyways, that came to mind. And I have no problem with that. I'll get people at my front door sometimes, and they're very nice. They're not, we have a no soliciting policy, which a lot of neighborhoods do.
Right.
But like I said, in today's day and age, you might say, can you text her? I'm just going to walk right down there and just hand her my card.
Exactly.
That's all. It'll take me 2 seconds. I'll go.
Yeah.
And and one thing can lead to another. And I think that's the way to, when you present yourself like that, that's a very professional approach.
Correct. It is. And other things that go on, like, for example, and John, I know you've been I've been successful in my neighborhood with this as well, but does your neighborhood have a Facebook group?
Yes.
You have access to your neighborhood Facebook group, so you can put your information out on your Facebook group. But have you ever had I've had customers actually say, "Hey, can I put this out on your Facebook group, on our Facebook group, excuse me?" And I say, "Yes, that would be fine." And they put my business card out there.
I'm going to go back to what I was just saying, because, it keeps, I hear it playing in the back of my mind, is that, it's just today's environment where, people just walking around a neighborhood isn't a good look if you don't know what's going on.
I understand.
It just happened. It's just that way. So I think you're spot on. If you can get into the neighborhood Facebook page or something like that, boy, then you're in.
Take your business card too, folks. They should always be in your pocket in a business card holder, so they look good, not like they've been run over like these in this case. But leave 3 cards at every customer's house. Just do it. You'd be amazed. They do get handed out. I mean, every day I just leave them with people as I leave, and they send them on their way. I mean, that's just basic networking and referral. It really is. And you can get into that, and John, you've done it. I've done it. We've all done it. It works really, really well. Really, really well. Do a good card. Like I said, this guy did a good card. It's a really good card. I like it. It's very descriptive. It tells you tells you many of the things that he does, just like ourselves. It's basically, in our case, we generally write what we don't do. That's what we talk about anyway. Don't do ladders, high ladders. But anyway, that kind of thing. But yeah, I consider that to be much more of a better return of your time than it is just throwing things out the window. Plus, you're not burning fuel. You're not burning your maintenance in your vehicles.
One of the things that we discussed, if I remember correctly, Larry, one time, is that the amount of the state of the handyman business. I think that 80% of the homes are going to need some type of repair or handyman help or something like that.
It's about 80. It's a huge percentage.
The neighborhood,
Yeah.
So when you look at the neighborhood, think of out of 10 homes, 8 of them are probably a good target for you. And that's, I think, why once again you want to be very professional.
Right.
Because the hit rate's probably going to be very, very high.
Well, John, remember when we started off, you and I were talking about actually going and doing door to door. And what did we decide we weren't going to do? Go door to door, because we knew our hit rate was going to be too high.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, how much work do we really want? And,
well, I think it all boiled down to, just learning this business and how many customers you can actually have at one time.
Correct. Yep.
Now, and how much business do you actually want? How busy do you want to be?
Right.
And you can be careful what you wish for.
Johnny, I've heard that from you before, many times. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, and
because it might actually come true.
We're just not in that. Well, I'm not. I'm not in the growth mode of like hiring people and things like that. And
correct. Myself neither, although I am I'm pretty diligent working. I'm working every day at this point, but I don't want to expand for a lot of different reasons. I'm in the twilight of my career, honestly, and of the handyman.
Yeah, it's just too much fun right now to have the time off when you want the time off.
Correct. Yep.
But
those are personal choices too.
Yeah.
Right?
So for some of you younger folks out there that are really getting started and getting out there, kind of the sky's the limit on this stuff.
Yeah.
So.
You can send us an email, questions at handymanprosradioshow.com. If you want to be blowing and going, trust me, Johnny and I will give you plenty of free tips that will get you blowing and going. So busy that you'll be like, I can't. I've done it for several people now, me personally. One guy just said, I can't do anymore. I'm done. You've just, every tip you've given me, I'm done. I can't do it. I was like, what do you mean you can't? He's like, I can't market anymore. I'm done. I was like, oh, that's a good problem. He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, thanks. So I should have him on actually. But anyway, that's right. Well, there's one other method, John, that and we're going to basically wrap this up, because this particular method, John and I knew about it for quite some time, but I've never used it. and I've never used it again for the same reason that I'm a little leery of getting too much business. But this is a method I found out from my brother-in-law who worked for the United States Postal Service. He worked for the USPS as a salesperson, which I don't know if people know that, but the post office actually has salespeople. So he was telling me about a program called Every Door Direct and this is a USPS. This is direct mail, but it's extremely targeted. And I'm just going to tease you because we're going to do another show. We're going to dive into this, and maybe we should actually try this, John. But one of the things that in our quick examination, I just wanted to go through this. What you do basically is you buy a mail route. Okay, so you have to deliver to every house on the route. On average, that's around 425 or 450 doors. So you're going to deliver 400, let's say about 450 pieces that will be in your mail, and you create the pieces. So all you do is you take these down to the post office and you say, I want them. It's on their website, and we'll get into it deep dive. But John and I were just going through it a little bit, and for delivery to 425 pieces in Johnny's neighborhood was about $90 for just the delivery. Plus you add the cost of your pieces in. To compare and contrast the time that it takes for the person to drive around and drop these things off to get 425 pieces delivered for $90. I can't even justify.
I don't know how that happens to tell you the truth. Just in time alone.
Oh, just in time alone. I mean, it's going to take you, if you think about it, I want you to drive around to 425 homes sometime and see how long it takes you to get there. Well, I'll tell you how long it takes, John. What's the average length of time it takes a mail route guy to run his route? Right. 6 hours, maybe?
Yeah.
Probably, Yeah.
Right.
So it's like a 6-hour gig for, about $90, and you can target neighborhoods. And we got into it, and we're going to get into it. I think we do a whole show on it, Johnny, because it's really amazing. I don't think people are aware it's out.
I think it's really good for a lot of you folks out there that are starting to create your businesses, no matter even what they are. If you're targeting,
it's more than just that.
But the demographics and all the things that are open to you on out of their databases is really interesting.
We were a little shocked. I hadn't been on that site in a long time.
Yeah, so for $86, now you don't deliver just a little business card. You can brochure.
Can deliver an actual brochure. And we can get into doing a trifold brochure
and very targeted,
but very targeted.
I know a lot of the guys that are in the tree business, some of the bigger businesses and stuff like that. I'll get flyers in my mailbox. I'm sure they're using this, and they might have some jobs coming up in a certain area. So with that in mind, advance, send out a field advance, the Ranger Battalion up front, so you do a little recon. And you say, hey, we're going to be in your neighborhood in the next 5 days, and it's in your mailbox, and it's very targeted at the neighborhoods.
It's a great tactic right there. So like I said, we're teasing you. We're going to do a whole show on it. We'll pull up some of the graphics and some of the information that they have, and we'll show you all of it. We were going to try to integrate it into this show, and we started looking at it. This is too much for just us.
We've been working too hard. I haven't had that much time to put stuff together right here yet.
Yeah, and it's one that really fully deserves a full show. All right, with that, John, is there anything else? Do we want to talk about any other like kind of direct marketing things that are really targeted into specific neighborhoods other than just what we've talked about so far? And again, I've got to give this guy credit for at least making an effort, but if you're going to spend your time and money, think about ways that are most effective, right? And he's done a lot right.
Yeah. I think that was really the target of the show. I think if I was going to leave you with anything, I think that the little lawn sign that you have, if you're out doing some work at somebody's house, you might, if they allow it, to put that little lawn sign out.
Is it? Oh, that's another good way. Yeah. That's a way,
so if you're already there, here's, Larry and John are right here. If you need anything else,
If you're working at a job, say all day, stick it out in the morning, pick it up on your way out in the afternoon. I have those. I mean, I don't do them much, but I do have them. I have them ready to go if I need to.
I got too much business, man. I tell you, I got neighbors coming over. Not my neighbors. If I'm in the town over, people start coming over and saying, "Hey, what do you do?"
Right. Yeah, John and I,
so
we can
go on
and
on about this.
We can go on. Letter your truck up. We don't do that because same thing. I just don't want that much business, because you can overwhelm yourself quickly. You really can overwhelm yourself quickly. And that's what we're trying to avoid. Johnny, I was flying my drone the other day. Okay, maybe not, but I was flying over your house the other day, or maybe not. But anyway, didn't you have a sign up on your roof that said aliens land here?
No, was that you taking? I was in the shower and I saw something go by the window.
It was me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna. No comment. I'm just gonna let that one go. All right, folks. With that, if you would please like and subscribe to our websites, both or to our shows, basically podcasts, and on our YouTube channel as well, please. If you'd like to see ourselves, we are out there on YouTube. It's Handyman Pros Radio Show on YouTube. And send us an email if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. It's Handyman Pros Radio Show. Questions at handymanprosradioshow.com. How many times have I done this? Or handymanprosradioshow@gmail.com. Either way. And with that, Johnny, take us home.
All right, folks, have a great week. We will see you next time on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.